Hi, good afternoon. I thought today we're going to talk about a really interesting subject, at least it is to me, and hopefully it'll be to you too. And it's going to be about our auric fields. So everything here in this reality, we'll call it a matrix. I did get ribbed about calling this a matrix, and the only reason I call it that is that everybody has probably seen that movie, or was it a couple of movies? Well, whatever, about the Matrix and how everything wasn't real and it's all in your head and you're connected to whatever. Well, the reason I use that term is that it gives everybody a base to know that it's not what they think it is. And that's why I use the term the Matrix, because I really don't have another word for terminology to describe what this is. Other than that, that's a good explanation. So this matrix that we're in, it's comprised of energy, of course it is. And even that has auric fields around it. So when you learn how to see auras, which I will teach you how to look and find and see auras in a few seconds here, maybe minutes. You'll see it around inanimate objects, trees, buildings, people, animals, what have you. Everything has this. So what is exactly an auric field? Well, it's energy that's emanating from the inside out. It's like pulsing energy, because energy is never still. It's constantly in perpetual motion. And beings such as ourselves run on emotion. And those emotions come out into our auric field as colors, because colors are actually a frequency that we're running at. So when you're really angry, it might be kind of red in your auric field, or you're agitated, or you're really excited about something. That can even be red, because it's a vibration that you're running at. And of course, your auric field will change depending on how you feel, what you're doing, or even what is affecting you. Because there are outside influences that can affect your auric field. So how should I divide this up and start? Maybe I should start with how things affect our auric field. So I know I go out walking all the time, and there is this huge 4G tower out there. And I notice that when I'm walking, I see people coming closer and closer to this 4G, 5G tower. And I noticed that it's severely starting to affect their auric field around them. It almost looks like something that's been over microwaved. I guess because of the pulses coming out, and it's really against what you're vibrating at, and it's degrading you. So I'm going to say that 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, and 5G are detrimental to your energy field and also inside. It's one of the root causes for almost all illness, and it's the technologies. Unfortunately, we have been given these horrific technologies for multiple reasons. One is to make us ill so the pharmaceutical companies can get rich off of pumping lots of medication. And of course, there's always the one to depopulate. So these technologies could be made to be in our own frequencies, which would not harm us, but that's not the part we're given. So just to say that, that's out there. So no, it's not that, oh, well, we don't have the ability to have this. No, we do. It's just that they're being aimed as weapons. So what's the next thing that affects our auric field? Of course, from the inside out, what you eat. It's very important. The processed food, it's like eating styrofoam cups. There's nothing in it for you that you can possibly use, and it's going to harm you, just like eating a styrofoam cup. The GMO food, which takes out all of the nutrition, oh boy, does it. Where you could be vitamin and mineral deficient. So it's terrible too. There was a point before they started modifying our food, and I'm talking about our wheat, our corn, and quite a few vegetables, and even our animals that some people eat, to the point where they've taken out whole vitamins and minerals and nutrition, and it's not good either. When you become any kind of vitamin deficient, you end up being very ill also, because your body needs things to replenish itself, and your cells can't rebuild on zero income. They need to have things to rebuild. So that's just another whole thing. But let's start talking about how to see these auric fields around yourself and everything out there. Do you remember about 15, maybe 20 years ago, if you're old enough, these pictures that came out? They were pixelated pictures, and you just look at them and it's just a big mess. You don't see anything. It's like, oh my gosh, what is that? Well, there's a technique that you can do to bring this more into focus, so you can actually all of a sudden see a picture come out of this. And it's how your brain is designed inside. It makes you think and look a different way, and actually tap into an ability that will enable you to see auras. So if you can go online, I think they might have them online. I'll have to check this out, but I'm pretty sure everything's online. You can go look for one of those pixelated pictures that have something in it, and you'll do a couple of things. One, you'll pull the picture up, and when you go to look at it, cross your eyes like this. Pull back slowly and still have that momentum. You might take you a couple of times, and then all of a sudden, even if it takes you 10 tries, oh my gosh, you can see a picture. But you won't hold it for very long, because as soon as you focus on it, you'll lose it again. So it's actually a defocusing technique. It's like looking outside on your peripherals. You'll see stuff here and here all the time, and the second you gauge your eye to see it, it's gone. It's out of your range. And it's this peripheral vision that you can see this with. So that's just a focusing technique. Another thing is, when you first start, everything has an auric field around it. It could be an inanimate object, a cup, or something like this, or a being, or whatever. You want to put it against a back or a white background, because for some reason, if it's got color to it, which inanimate objects don't usually have any color to it, they're just kind of like white. But other things like people might have color, so you don't want to use a colored background, because you're not going to see the colors if you're just starting to do this. So you'll do this focusing technique until you can get it in, and then the more you use it, the more you're using parts of your brain that have never been used before, and or very rarely, and you'll be developing a new skill. Seeing these auras around things is quite amazing, because it opens you up also to the possibility that you are more than what you think you are. Because once you start seeing these auras around things, you'll be like, oh, what else can I do? It's going to be like, for the first time, picking up that bike and riding it, going, wow. And if you get good enough over time, you'll be able to see actual things affecting people's auric fields, especially technologies. And then you'll be like questioning everything. Your energy is constantly pulsing. So even if they use, what do they call those? EMPs, electromagnetic pulse, which is coming off of a lot of this stuff, it is interfering into your auric field, and that's not a good thing. We need to have those EMPs that are geared toward cellular regeneration instead of cellular degeneration. So, very interesting. But it might take you a while to practice and do this, and do it here and do it there. Do it with a pencil. Put a pencil on a table. Just try to do that. Put a white sheet of paper underneath of it. And before you know it, you'll start using this part of your brain that's very atrophied from not being used. And start developing these skills. One skill set will lead into another, will lead into another, will lead into another. It's like opening the door on your DNA activation, because actually this will help activate your DNA. And when you start questioning everything and doing everything, it's very interesting. So I do know that this reality that we are in is like, it's like being in a dream. Because if you watch my video number 3, I talk about waking up from the dream. And this dream is the physicality dream of being physical, because we are not interesting. Also, another note, I do know about maybe a little over 100 years ago, because of the 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, and 5G, with the progression of time in this reality, we have become sicker and sicker as a race of humanoid beings. And not just us, but also our ecosystem, because of these electromagnetic pulses. And if you did not have this reality with this technology, we would be so much healthier. Coupled with the food, wow, yeah. So if we could get back onto track as a civilization of stop GMOing our foods, get them back to the state they were in originally, go to a better technology, we would become a brighter, more fit society of beings that are extremely healthy. Of course, in this money reality, where everything is money, 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 they don't want that. They want you to be dependent upon them, so they don't have to do anything but suck off of you. It's like that 1% on top who does actually not much but create devastation so they can feed off of you. And you're putting all this energy into everything you do so that it benefits them. It's horrible. But I digress. So the auric fields around us, I think it's like 25 feet one direction, which gives you like a 50-foot circumference all the way around. So, there's a way to test this too. You can make it bigger or shrink it right to your skin, depending on your own intent. And it's like walking into a room. And as soon as you walk into the room, you can feel, depending on how big your auric field is, you can make it as big as the room or as small as you are. The temperature, what I mean by temperature is how everybody's going, what they're doing. You can really tap into other beings. What is the mood in the room? Yeah, that's your auric field combining with theirs, because another's auric field will have a direct impact on you unless you make mental notations that you do not affect me. And it's really hard to do, because you'd have to be pretty trained in that field or keep working on it so that others' auric fields don't affect you. It's like having white paint and dropping any color into that white paint of another color, and it affects the white paint. That's us. We're the buckets of the white paint. So if I drop in a drop of red, my white is no longer white. Or a drop of yellow, blue, green, it doesn't matter, any color. So just think of yourself as that bucket of white paint, and everyone else is a color. So yes, it can absolutely affect you, and you'd have to do techniques so their energies don't affect you. Interesting. So let me think. Is there anything I should talk about? Well, talking about disease because of your auric field, talking about others affecting you, shrinking your auric field, making it larger, looking at auric fields all around, starting to activate parts of your brain that you've never used because you never thought about using them, activating your DNA. Oh, and I will say one more thing. When I talk about raising your vibration, because I'm always saying raise those vibrations, what I'm actually meaning is take the higher road, take the better path, take the more enlightened path. You have a lot of choices in front of you, but let's just narrow it down to 1 and 2. One path is a downward spiral of negativity, and the other path is an upward spiral of positivity. To be a lighter, brighter you, I'm always saying, raise your vibration, take the higher path, be the better man, be the better woman, be the better being. I know in this reality that is not easy to do because we've all been trained to go to the negative. And, it's horrific. I see it all the time where somebody will say something negative and all of a sudden everybody's talking about negativity. And they're just bathing in it. And that's when I say, raise your vibration. If you've got nothing nice to say nothing at all and keep your negativity to yourself. Don't spread it like a bad cancer, because that's exactly what it is. It is a cancer of energy. It's negativity. If you want to experience negativity, go someplace all by yourself and have a pout or do whatever. But please don't infect others around you. Positivity is the power. Positivity is to enlightenment. Raise your vibration to the positivity. Make the world a better, brighter place. Negativity has been around us for the last 3 months, and we can see how that worked. Not well. As it escalates into more negativity, it's not the answer. Of course, if you wanted to keep people here and feed on them, it is the answer, which is why it's done. So, I digress again. Okay, so raise your vibrations, and everybody, I'll see you on the next video. Have a great day. Bye.